Will you get us underway?
Cool. Yeah. Hey, Alex. Congrats on the result and the performance last night. What was it like for you coming in to replace Ollie Sale, just your second start, and then having a major hand in sending the team to the semi-finals?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big moment for me, especially and for the boys as well, because making a bit of history yesterday was fantastic for everybody, and I felt that we all dug deep and worked hard for each other to actually execute it with the penalty shootout. So I'm still stoked, still buzzing from yesterday, but hopefully we can look forward to next week's game or the following game.
Yeah, and obviously, 3 saves in the penalty shootout. Did you were you able to study up on where the players are going to shoot? Were you going off instinct? Like, what was kind of your approach to, and how did you manage to pull it off?
Yeah, well, I mean, before the game, we always do our match preparation in terms of where all the strikers are most likely going to go. But for me personally, I kind of just go off instinct and kind of see where the player's body positioning and all of that kind of takes into account, and so what decision I make to make the save.
Hey Alex, Luke here from New Sub, mate. Hope you're well. Just can we touch on nerves? Is it something that are you notoriously quite a nervous player, or in penalties do you feel that, or what was it like for you last night?
Oh, for sure. No, before every game, I'm always nervous. You can tell some of the boys that I really get nervous before a game. My knees, ankles get a bit weak, but I just try to not think about it as much as I can, and kind of just be confident in myself and just go out there and try and perform to the best of my abilities.
And what does this do for the squad? I guess struggling a little bit in the last few games in the ALeague, but now through to a semi-final in the FFA Cup. What does this do for the momentum of the team?
Well, I mean, for mentality going towards the game, we should all kind of believe in ourselves, and this game kind of just shows that we have what it takes to compete against some of the big clubs in the ALeague. And I feel like if the boys can kind of carry that momentum and kind of carry that mentality into the next couple of games, and hopefully we can get some big results.
Hi Alex, it's Chris Chang here from TVNZ. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you, Chris?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. Hey, look, they say that goalkeepers love penalty shootouts because they've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. For you, is it even more so the fact that you've come in as the backup keeper, and how would you describe that situation in terms of being able to seize the moment?
Yeah, well, I feel like I've got nothing to lose. I feel I kind of just want to go in there and prove to the boys that even though I am backup, I can kind of help the team to get some results. So my mentality and my mindset is just have nothing to lose going forward.
And I know it wasn't one of the most glamorous parks or stadiums in Australia, but how would you rank it in terms of your young career so far? I mean, you've had some big moments at Under-17 World Cup, but now that you've come in off the back of a pro contract, where does this rank in terms of your career highlights?
No, I feel like it's up there. It's, even though it's not in a stadium, but I feel like it's pretty cool kind of experiencing that type of vibe or the environment when playing. When the fans are up front on the fences and you can kind of hear the atmosphere going and all that stuff. It's actually kind of cool because that was definitely a first time for me kind of experiencing that type of environment. But yeah, I'd have to say it's definitely up there with one of my highest environments that I've been in.
Hey, Alex, Adam here from News Talk ZB Radio. Just kind of keen to get a bit of an insight into how much of your sort of training through the week or development sort of, over the years as a goalkeeper comes down to studying players in these penalty shootout type moments. How much does it occupy your sort of training time and study time when it comes to football?
Well, I feel like in terms of study time, I kind of give myself, depending on, when the game is, I give myself, enough time to kind of analyze some of the players and what their penalties are like, and it comes down to the fine details. I feel like when it goes to, the run up, the slow run up, is it fast? Do they do stutter steps? Their angles of the, where they shoot, their hand positioning, the planting foot. It comes down to all those details that, I like to take into consideration because they're really crucial.
And Scott Jamison's, attempt during the match, did that, when you came back to line up again for post the proper match, did that sort of play on your mind at all, give you a bit of extra confidence going into what was a very lengthy shootout in the end?
Yeah, it was very, very lengthy. Fair play to, is it Glover? Tommy Glover. He, pulled off some miraculous saves in those, penalty shootout. And I feel like, with Jameson, I felt, he got nothing to lose, as I said before, because, even though he's missed it, you can kind of just be there and, show your face and, look, I guess, somewhat intimidating, and just kind of put the pressure on him.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Kia ora, Alex, it's Nigel here from MediaWorks. How much previous penalty shootout experience did you have to draw on throughout your secondary school, your age group, your academy career?
I did a couple when I was younger with the qualifiers in Solomon Islands for the World Cup. So I did a penalty shootout there, and beforehand I had a couple, but it's one of those things where it comes down to luck. Sometimes you make the save and then sometimes you don't. So it's purely based on luck and if you're in the right position or not.
So I know you've spoken a lot with regards to preparation and I guess a lack of having experience. In terms of then, how much is it down to the mental aspect of it and remaining connected? Because everybody else is watching, you have to remain engaged for yet another period of time. How do you go about, as you walk out, having faced a penalty? Is it a switch off, switch on moment? Can you talk us through that?
Yeah, well, playing that 120-minute game, it does take a lot on the brain in terms of trying to concentrate and make sure that you're focusing all the way through. But for me, I feel like it's just about talking to yourself. I don't know if a lot of people do that, but it might be weird, but I like talking to myself mentally and kind of just keep making sure that I stay focused. And it's just like little words, making sure that I'm still in the game and I'm kind of managing how I think and what I can remember as well.
And just finally from me, is there much, if any, camaraderie between the two goalkeepers? Even though you're on opposition sides of the field at that particular point, is there much or any communication between you and your opposite?
Yeah, well, I mean, before we did the penalty shootout, I think it's Glover. He's a very nice guy. I only just met him then, so we had a chat about the penalty shootout and kind of just embracing it. But he's a very nice guy, and I think most other goalkeepers can say like the GKU or the Union is very, very nice people, and you can't really go wrong with them. So yeah, we only talked for a little bit before kind of zoning out and heading into the penalty shootout.
Yeah, mate. Thank you very much.
Alex, Michael Burgess here from the New Zealand Herald. Just wanted to know, what were your expectations at the start of this season?
Well, at the start of the season, my expectations was to at least, make my debut and, kind of just come on and see if I can, prove myself, because that was my goal, to try and prove myself to the team, even though I am 19, that, I can still help the boys to, do a job at the end of the day. So that was my, first goal of the season.
And just on the shootout, how were you feeling in the first part of the shootout? You made a couple of really good saves, but your teammates couldn't capitalise. They couldn't score their penalties. So how were you feeling at that stage?
Well, I mean, when people miss penalties, it happens. It happens to the best of us. Can't really, do much about it. But at the same time, I feel like in my head, I've just got to, make sure that, I save the next penalty, or, I commit to, saving the next penalty for, for the boys. So it all comes down to that. And
you said at the start you were really nervous before games, but you looked super confident from the start of the shootout, from the very first penalty. Was that how you were feeling?
Yeah, no, definitely. I was definitely nervous, but yeah, it's hard to explain. It's very weird.
Thanks.
Take it to your mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey Alex, Matt Camito here from Keep Up. Congratulations on the win and the performance. There's a photo of you at the moment online as a young lad with a certain Glenn Moss. I'm just wondering if you remember getting that photo taken and if there's any story behind it.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I was at Wellington Sports up in Auckland, and at the time they had a partnership with the Wellington Phoenix soccer schools. So it was kind of like that pathway for all the younger boys at Wellington Sports, boys and girls at Wellington Sports to, make a pathway to go to, Wellington Phoenix. And at the time, I think there was a game, a Wellington Phoenix game. And then we also, because I must have been like 13, 14, or maybe, there was also like a prize giving for the Wellington Sports sports team. So they did like a bit of a function where you can do your prize giving, and then after the prize giving, you can go watch the Wellington Phoenix play. So with the story, I went up, and after the game, I wanted to get a photo with Glenn Moss. So I managed to get a photo with him, and then I think I also got another photo with Ben Sigmund as well. So yeah, it was just like a real neat thing.
And there's been plenty of great Phoenix keepers to look up to through the years. Have you had any more experience in and around, any other Wellington keepers through the time? And it must be good to have so many great role models like that to look up to coming through the club over the years.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially with looking up to Mark Paxton. When I was growing up, I used to watch him play a lot, and then Glenn Moss as well. But I also feel like, Oliver Sale, he's a big role model for me. Like, he's pretty much like my big brother. So I kind of like look up to him a lot in terms of, if I have any, if he has any advice, then like kind of just ask him and, see what we can, discuss. Because, he's a real role model in that sense. And then, there's a lot of other younger goalkeepers that I've kind of, talked with and, communicated with along my journey.
Fantastic. So overall, just last question, sorry, how do you think your overall sort of goalkeeping education has been through your time at the Knicks?
I still feel like I can learn. I feel like I can learn a lot in terms of, making sure that, there's different aspects of my game that I can improve on. Because, I think a lot of people, they always have their, strengths and they have their weaknesses. So I feel like, in terms of my education, I feel like that's a, big weakness that I can always improve on.
Thank you, mate.
Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I might just go if you don't mind, Brenton.
Yeah, go for it.
I know Nigel asked you a little bit before about Glover. Great name, by the way, for a keeper. Did you have any chats with him at all afterwards, or in between spot kicks? Because I know you were sort of facing off at one point with 2 saves each, and then you beat him out narrowly.
Not really, because I think we were just both in the zone and kind of wanted to make the penalty saves. But yeah, the only talk that we had was before the spot kicks and before the penalty kicks, and then after the game he said well done and congratulations.
And just lastly for me, other member of the GKU, what did Ollie say to you after the game as well as your senior?
I said congrats, well done to the boys as well. So it's always good hearing from him.
Alex, you mentioned before you set yourself the goal of wanting to prove yourself to your teammates. I'm sure you must feel like you've done that now.
Not yet, no. I feel like we've still got a couple of games yet left to play and kind of finish the season on a high.
Yeah, and you got Melbourne victory in the semi-finals. Like, how far do you think you guys can go in the FFA Cup?
Well, I feel like with the talent that we have and the belief and the confidence, I feel like we can go all the way and make a bit of history for Phoenix.
Yeah, and what was it like? I mean, there was pretty wild celebrations after the game. Is there something like nice about the cup that it brings out that emotion? Like you probably wouldn't get that if you just won a league game.
Yeah, I feel like there's something special about the FFA Cup, especially with all the different NPL teams and different, you know, A-League teams, and then, you know, we're the only Kiwi team in the FFA Cup, so it does feel special to, you know, kind of, you know, win those games.
And can I just confirm, have you ever saved 3 or you know, penalties in a shootout before?
I'm not too sure. I can't remember, but it might be my first time.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Alex, just on those celebrations, we obviously saw how much that, you know, how much that game meant to you guys. Can you just touch on how much it did mean and how excited you guys were?
Well, it was you know, very exciting, especially winning. But it's also, you know, credit to the fans. You know, having a lot of, you know, Melbourne supported Wellington Phoenix fans there to come and support us was, you know, fantastic. And, you know, I feel like we got to give credit to them because, you know, they were a small minority out of, you know, a lot of Melbourne fans. So it was big credit to them to, you know, help us through and, you know, support us all the way through.
Any last words? You're done, Alex. Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Bevan.
Thank you, Alex.